the ultimate betrayal to black people in South Africa has been concluded. This is a pill, a reality that Africans have to swallow for the rest of their life, knowing that the once celebrated liberation movement, the ANC, has went to bed with its sworn enemy, the Democratic Alliance. Many people did not see this coming, but in this channel, we warned you. We saw it coming. Now, the 7th administration in Parliament has set. Thoko Didiza is now the newly elected Speaker of Parliament. Congratulations to the DA. Cyril Ramaphosa has been re-elected as the President of South Africa. We have to say congratulations to the Oppenheimers. Their great plan has really succeeded. What happened in Parliament? What was the activities all about in terms of counting votes in private? Let's talk about that and much more.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your pan-africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Because we actually are quite empathetic to President Ramaphosa, because we say he was never really a leader. Actually, he was a media creation, and I've certainly later in the book compared him to a true leader like Winnie Mandela, who was made by the people, not manufactured by business or media. So we say here is a man who was never an A-grader, who did very little as a deputy president, who created this myth of a messiah. And what we're seeing now is that his own supporters are going through what we call the 7 stages of grief. They're realizing that this is no messiah. They're denying it. They're going through anger. They're going through all the phases of grief as identified by a Swiss psychiatrist, Dr. Kubler-Ross. And so we're saying that they see the truth. They see it, but they don't want to see it. But the truth is that this man is not serving the ANC interests. Perhaps he's actually responsible for the final nail in the coffin of the ANC.
Peace in pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I am your host, Kagiso Hlongwane Zinjiva Sono, and we're back at it again with another one. And oh my God, it has happened. Yeah, it was a joke when we were predicting this, that the ANC will go to bed with the DA. It was unbelievable that and the ANC would do this unthinkable thing. But now, it's no longer a pipe dream, but it's a reality that we South Africans will have to live with for the next, I would say, 2 to 3 years. The grand coalition that the Oppenheimers planned is right in front of us. Our country has entirely been sold. Talk about state capture. We know very well that parties were bought with millions. But we don't consider this state capture. Why not? We know that Zondo is in that position as Chief Justice because he was awarded for doing a great job. We know what is going on. Is this not the state capture that they were talking about? I've seen ANC members take off their shirt and throw it away in disbelief that the ANC is working with the DA, excuse me. But it's happening. It looks like the ANC and the DA's deal was that they were going to give deputy seats to the DA, and I wonder why the ANC does not see that all those deputy seats will be promoted to official seats. All the deputy chairs of the DA in KwaZulu-Natal, in Gauteng, in Parliament, all of them, in 12 months' time, there will be debt that will be coming out, and the speakers will be taken out, and the DA will rule Parliament. Mark my words. Mark my words. I don't know how. Actually, I'm out of words, because even on the chat, on the live stream that we had, people could not believe that indeed our country is sold. Let's start with the reaction of Cyril Julius Malema. Let's hear what he said, because there's something I want to highlight from what Julius Malema said to Cyril Ramaphosa. Yeah, it's gone. South Africa is gone.
Can the Economic Freedom
Thank you
Fighters?
very much, Madam Speaker. Congratulations to you. And you know very well that under normal circumstances, would have ordinarily supported you, because we believe in your commitment to a parliament that is going to work effectively and efficiently. We have an experience of working with you even before, and we do not doubt your capacity. Our contestation of you was necessarily to contest the betrayal of our people, and it has nothing to do with you as an individual. Congratulations, Mr. President. We accept the results and the voice of the people of South Africa, which was expressed on the 29th of May. And we also accept the results of today's gathering, because it's a reflection of a democratic practices. But we contested because we wanted to demonstrate to South Africa that we do not agree to this marriage of convenience to consolidate the white monopoly power over the economy and the means of production in South Africa. This marriage, it's a marriage that seeks to undermine the changing of property relations in South Africa. We refuse to sell out. We have never done so when we were young, and we're not going to do so today. We don't have a history of being collaborators. We are going to ensure that this parliament is functional. We can reassure you that we will not fight with any bouncer. We are going to be the best and effective opposition that is going to ensure that both you and the DA are held accountable. This is not a government of national unity. This is a grand coalition between the ANC and the white monopoly capital.
Honorable
History
member, your
will
time
judge
is
you
over.
and judge you harshly. Thank you.
Inkatha Freedom Party.
My takeaway from what Julius Malema is saying is that the betrayal that the ANC did, I don't think this current ANC will ever understand it. We will hear from the next generation of the ANC how this decision that the ANC has taken has affected them. Because they are quiet. They are not in parliament. These old ANC members have taken this decision knowing very well that this is not going to benefit the party. The liberation movement will suffer because of this, but in the short term, it will bear fruit into their pockets. And it looks like our politicians are thinking with their stomachs. Excuse me. The voice of the people have spoken, Julius Malema says. We don't agree with it. The voice of the people spoke another message that the IEC refused to show. The IEC is a corrupt and untrustworthy organization with corrupt officials. We know that. We know that ballot papers were lost, scanning machines were not working, the scoreboard chose to miraculously switch off for an hour or so. Who can trust these people? Who can trust these people? You tell me right now if this is not state capture. Can't you see, ladies and gentlemen, where we are going? Can you not see that Cyril Ramaphosa will not finish his term? Can you not see it? That Thoko Didiza will not finish her term? Can you not see that these people will be removed? Can you not see it? As if that was not enough, Zondo was trying to make the vote counting of the presidential candidates private in a room where there is no observers. And of course, the EFF is not going to allow this. And of course, the DA is going to support that. Let's quickly listen to Mbuyisane Ndlozi, Julius Malema, and the DA's response to their objection. Justice.
Chief Justice, these rules are not the rules of Parliament, number one. And number two, you cannot say because apartheid made a law and I inherited it, even if it is undemocratic, I have nothing to do. That can't be a responsible response. As the head of the judiciary, were appealing that surely you agree it is undemocratic to say the counting cannot be observed. What are we teaching the country now? What are we telling the South Africans who are watching these proceedings? What are we telling the international community? That a head of our judiciary says a counting is going to be done in secret. We are appealing to you. Set this rule aside. Nobody will do anything. It's your rule. It's not us. It doesn't have to be subjected to anything. It is undemocratic. It's inconsistent with the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. And no one is going to lose anything. These cameras that are showing me now must zoom in as the counting is happening. The last thing I want to say, in 2019, there was an outright winner. In 2019, there was no contestation. But we have been here when there was a contestation and voting happened in secret, but counting was observed by everyone. And it happened on the floor of the National Assembly. Musi Maimane was contesting, Honorable Musi Maimane was contesting Honorable Gedle Hlegisa Jikijela Mkhonto Zuma. And we counted here. But I'm appealing to you, Deputy, Chief Justice. It's undemocratic to say a counting cannot be observed.
Yes, Honorable Malema.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. I never thought I would sit in a meeting where we argue with the head of the judiciary about internationally acceptable methods of running a democratic elections. The observation, for you to observe the elections, is a democratic practice which is internationally acceptable. And we cannot have a debate about that. And no one, Chief Justice, stands to lose anything out of observation of elections unless someone seeks to do something that is undemocratic. But if it is in line with democratic principles, it is internationally acceptable that a free and fair elections will, amongst other things, include that there were observers who observed the proceedings of the elections. So I fully support what Honorable Ntuli suggests, that if you want to go and then enjoy Cape Town while people are counting, let's get people to go and represent us. But in the past, and all members who are returning members here know it, in the past we used to count in the middle of the plenary. It's not something strange. And Floyd was an observer in one of those countings that happened here. And Honorable Musi was a candidate of such a contestation. Those people, both of them are here, who were there before. So we support that motion, and anything else that is not democratic that is being suggested by the DA is not supported, is strongly opposed, because it even comes from wrong people.
Chief.
He says that in the past it has happened. Let me hear a few more views.
Honorable Chief Justice.
Let me start this side.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. Just a couple of things. I think it would be improper for us to essentially want to amend rules which were approved by the Chief Justice on the 27th of May. Additionally, these rules were circulated to members of Parliament, and therefore, if members of Parliament had problems with particular rules here, that those should have been raised before. We cannot now be sitting here and asking to amend rules on the fly. It would essentially delegitimize the fact that we've got approved by rules that are governing the section. In addition to that, these rules are not just rules that have been created by the Chief Justice. They emanate from the Constitution under Section 9 of Schedule 3 of the Constitution. So I think it would be improper for us to now belatedly say we want to change rules on the floor of the House.
Ladies and gentlemen, there was only 48 something people there voting. Why is it that Parliament, that Zondo, the ANC, IFP, and the DA wanted to hide the counting of those votes? Why? What was the reason? Put camera on those counts. We want to see how many people, who got how many votes, basically. But the corrupt system continues in front of us. They have already started on a bad footing. They want to hide counting of votes for presidential seats. Why? Why? We know Cyril Ramaphosa is going to win. But can we just see the numbers with our own eyes, please? And when Mkhonto challenges this type of things, you're saying they are wasting time in court. So this type of things must be just accepted. It must just be accepted. This DA, black people. Black people. Black people. This girl is just talking for the sake of talking. Just talking for the sake of talking. What are you saying? Can we just see the counting in front of us? How are you going to verify the counting if you did not um, oversee it? How can you inspect? How can you expect what you did not inspect? How? The DA is a crooked political party, and they use black people to speak on their behalf, to hide their racism, and they're trying to protect white supremacy and their interest. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. For the next 36 months, the level of suffering that South Africa is going to have is crazy. So here's my question as I come to a conclusion, because I'm tired and my sinuses are not forgiving me. They warned us that if the ANC joins hands with the EFF and the MK, that the markets will respond badly and the currency will be weaker. That's what they said. They've been saying that all along because they knew that that possibility was there. Now that the markets got what they want, the markets got what they want. They got the ANC, IFP, and the DA to be in a marriage. Are we going to see petrol going down? Are we going to see the cost of living going down? Are we as black people going to get a lower interest rate in banks when it comes to our loans? Is our quality of life going to improve? Because the markets got what they wanted. You see, the markets will continue punishing us as black people, even when we give the markets what they want. Because I strongly believe if the EFF went into bed with the ANC, the markets were going to respond today. We were going to wake up with a weaker rand on Saturday. Well, today, you are going to wake up with a weaker rand if the markets did not get what they want. So they got what they want. Why is it that they are not giving us what we want also? Not that that's what we want entirely, but part of what we want is the correct value to our currency. Our currency is blown out to proportion. We don't know what is the rate or the real value of the rand. Because there's families, there's organizations that are controlling that. There you have it. Parliament is set. You saw smiles. I don't know what are people smiling about. Being sworn in, they're smiling because parliamentarians earn a lot of money, 1.3, 1.4 million. The speaker earns something like 3 million. 3 million, the speaker. She's the boss of parliament. She's the big boss. She oversees all the proceedings of parliament. So I'm closing with this. Ngicale ngokuthi black people ningapheli amandla, ningapheli umoya, ningapheli ithemba. I want to close with this. Africans, if you don't see what type of a fight we are in, you'll never win. I'll make an example with a boxing fight. I did this in the live stream. In a boxing fight, when two fighters are fighting and they are the same weight class, you think it is a fair fight because you see two people fighting. That's how you Africans view things. But how white monopoly capitalists see it, they see that they can buy the referee. Their boxer can be on steroids. The judges can be bought. The promoters can be bought. And the presenters, the radio presenters can be bought to say some certain things. We as black people don't see the fight that we are in. We don't understand the magnitude of our enemy and the ability of our enemy. We think one vote, one person will save us in 2026 in the local elections, in 2029 in the national elections. That's not the case. From 1994, the white monopoly capitalists saw that this one man, one vote is not going to work for them. We as black people are the majority. They will divide and conquer. They will open other organizations. It's going to be crazy going forward. You guys are fighting the wrong fight. The only party that is fighting the right fight is the MK party, because they understand what they are up against. And even with them, the systems are still against them. We are waiting to hear from the address of the president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma. I think he will be addressing South Africa on the 16th of June, 2 o'clock. We are waiting to hear what he's going to say. I hope it will be a structured speech, and he's not freestyling, speaking like he normally does, because this is due time. This is fight time. The enemies has drawn the battlegrounds, and they are fighting and killing us slowly as black people, but we don't want to see the fight. Yo! Ziyakhala manje. It's a sad day in South African history. It's a sad day. Those smiles that I saw in Parliament, it broke my heart. What are these black people smiling about? What are they smiling about? What is there to smile about? Until we meet next time, don't forget to pray. After you pray, you better stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace and pan-Africanism. Watching your pumula, man.